Hello, anybody, somebody, nobody, whoever may never see this. This is Siegfried Alexander Faust, the Whift. Come back at you some more Warhammer 40k. You made it. This is the part 4 of my little updated series on Warhammer 40k armies. I haven't been very active on YouTube or playing much 40k lately, but I've wanted to get around and make some changes since the late January update, early Feb, for data slate and FAQ for point changes. So, with the Munitorum in hand and all that taken care of, I've done Space Marines for the first video for Imperium, and then Imperium non-Space Marines, then Chaos, and then finally Xenos. You might see some changes here, but most of them should all have the right models and everything. You could be able to check on below, and you'll see a Google Drive link for all my armies that are pre-Battlescribe, so you can just grab the Battlescribe for your own and just check it out, and it's good to go. Or if you want to use any of these lists with the Battlescribe, there's the Battlescribe, and these lists are available on TTS in these mods, which I will also have available down below. So you can just plug and play, and you're already good to go if you're new or a veteran to the game. I like any constructive feedback, of course, as long as it's all professional, and I really like warm fuzzies. Any kind of comment, warm fuzzies are always well appreciated. If you do like, share, and subscribe, that really make my day. I don't really have many subscribers, and I don't really get many likes on my videos. I'm trying to do content as a hobbyist, but nothing professional. I don't have the time. I'm struggling to get a job as it is. Yeah, anyway. So anything you could do to brighten my day is much appreciated. That said, let's get into Xenos before my voice dies from recording all these. I'm going to start with Eldar. I'm going to have a Solitaire, Illic Knight Spear, Death Jester, and Artosh? I don't think it's Artosh. Yinkarn. 3 fire prisms. Yes, no night prisms, no D cannons, none of the Titan dude, the Wraith thing, and with the pistol changes, I don't have Wraith Guard either. They're still decent. I wouldn't run any of the dev stuff combinations because it doesn't work anymore for how their rules work, and they even recently toned down the amount of dice you get for their Strands of Fate. So I just don't think it's that worth it. 2 things as Skyweavers, so that way if you particularly go against vehicles, or if you don't have vehicles, you can just do some, try to get lucky shots into some Terminators or some shit. But it's more so just for vehicles because they have built-in anti-vehicle 4 dev wounds, which means if you roll a 4-up on the wound roll, it wounds. If it's a vehicle, it's wounded, and it takes mortal wounds, no save. Take the damage. Suck it. Melee ain't bad either. Quick little 16 attacks for melee, some Space Marine killing melee. It's far away from their heyday in 9th. Big sad. But, it's still pretty decent, and that way you can use fire prisms to just hang out in Narnia because of linked fire, and they can only have one exposed at a time, and you can hit with that one. Or you can just have them fanned out so you can get massive field coverage. So if one takes out its target, you can still have all the others hit alternate targets that they wouldn't normally see. Warp Spiders, because their flicker jump is insane. I only have the one, though. Only the one. Because you don't know that your enemy is going to have something necessarily that'd be really good for them to go into for all their Death Spinners. They may not have the most opportune target. Yes, they still have the devastating wounds. It's still nice. You could roll a bunch of shots and still maybe even theoretically kill a knight, and they just don't even get a save. Big funny. Boy, you don't necessarily know that. So rule of averages, they're a light infantry shred machine, or something that doesn't have a save. Ironically, anti-Eldar. But yeah, they're really good at getting rid of your opponent's backline. Yinkarn, because if you destroy something, you can just yeet the Yinkarn into it. Very funny, big meme. You'll notice for this dude, I'm pretty sure this list, he's the Warlord, but he doesn't have a squad to go with. He does have Phoenix Gem to keep him alive. I've noticed that a lot of maps, at least one of your 2 to 3 objectives, they're between No Man's Land and your starting area, will have cover, usually around them. So if you can hide this dude, you might even be able to hold the objective with him. And that'll just save you a lot of points, generate you extra CP, and I think it is quite feasible. And I think this is overall worth it. It is worth it, in my opinion, also to have Death Jester with Fate Messenger, so you can get that auto 6, regardless of also Strands of Fate. So, big meme there. And, yeah, this is just overall my Eldar list. They've changed a lot from 10th. They've gone through a lot of nerfs, and in doing so, changes. Moving on from Craftworld / Harlequin to Drukhari / Harlequin. Um, Drukhari are limited to 500 points. This is 495 points of Harlequin. So, success. Big win. I'm gonna have. Oh, this is actually Sky Splinter, by the way, not the Real Space Raiders. I am on the bandwagon that it is better. However, the only bonus this list is giving for it is just these two Raiders. So it's just gonna be 2 squads of Incubi. But I mean, if you think about it, if you get one really good trade and wipe out or do major damage to like those two, like I think one of the biggest things would be the Custodian Wardens. If you get huge damage trade off and wipe out or get major damage done to those two Custodian Warden squads, that's good enough. Like, that'll do it. The game is 5 rounds. You might not get combat for the first round. So if you get the second round, then you're going to start snowballing into less damage coming back at you. Lilith with her witches, because fight first and she hits hard. Very funny. If you put her around some ruins just to pop out, or to bait your opponent in because I have fight first, neener, what do I care? Scourges with their army of dark lances, their reavers with their heat lances. Very funny, big damage. I don't like that reavers are so small and they have something that's strength 14. Like, I was so proud of that Corn Lord of Skulls. It's T13. And I think a Stompa is like T13 or T14. And yet, Drukhari shooting can deal with it. That's just so insane to me. But yeah, 2 Archons, 1 each to lead the Incubi in each Raider. And a Solitaire because cheap character killer, some decent damage output. Shredder for Space Marines. He has his built-in 9 attacks, but you can use his ability. And he also fights first. So, you know, he can do a lot of funny business. Advance and charge, 3-up invul, extra attacks. He is a nasty little boy. So hide him and just have him run out and delete something. Moving right along. Tyranids, bugs. I think this is a really good Tyranids list. Ironically, the list just seems small. Like, it seems small compared to a lot of armies, but it's pretty tough. Exocrines, they have 14 wounds. That's something to touch on because a lot of, like, anti-tank stuff is usually about 4 to 6 damage. So they could take an extra hit from those things than what would normally kill Leman Russ tanks, which are 12 wounds. Knights, mini knights, 12 wounds. These are 14. And they're AP 3, damage 3, so if your opponent is getting light cover with his Termies, it's still going to be messing them up. So you got some anti-Terminator solution. 3 Lictors, because I think getting, Rapid Ingress for free is very funny. And it's 1 can target it for 0. So that does count as you using Rapid Ingress, so you can't use it again for that round, but it is free. So you don't have to spend CP, and you can just have them come into your opponent's backline, or just be random character killers. Very funny. 3 Tyrant Guard each, to go with Swarmlord and Hive Tyrant, both having a 5-up Feel No Pain, generating you extra CP, very good anti-melee. 1 Biovore and 1 Ripper Swarm. Biovore is going to shoot. This isn't in your army list. I repeat, not in the army list, and I have that only from Biovore. I have them coded and ready to go, and they're in the Battlescribe. So Battlescribe list shows 2,055 points. And then you could just explain to your opponent, or if you really need to, just take them out, because they are going to be generated from your Biovore. So, you know, they're not part of the list, but they're going to come into field, so it is relevant to have them. You're going to throw them in because they still get you... They didn't change the rules for how you can get behind enemy lines with them. They just reduced it so you can only shoot 1 Biovore with that per round. But that's fine. You shoot Biovore 1 and then put the Ripper Swarm in the other. Whatever is going to be easier to hide your Ripper Swarm, hide them there and put the Biovore on the other side. And then your opponent, you're going to be scoring tons of free victory points every round until it gets dealt with. Which means they have to shoot this dinky little Biovore in Narnia or track down and kill that one little Ripper Swarm. Doesn't matter that it's OC0 and these are OC0. You're still scoring. What needs to be changed is behind enemy line stuff needs to be at least OC1. That would be a welcomed fix. That has not happened, unfortunately. The Neurolictor, just because it can hide and hang out in your back line. And then 3 Pyrivores, they're going to go into reserves, actually. Because I think bringing 3d6 plus 3 Flame Spurts with Twin Linked, so auto hit, reroll wounds, ignore cover, strength 6, AP 1, damage 1, is funny. I think that's very hilarious to me. They can actually maybe, I don't think they delete a Terminator squad actually. If you rolled really high on the amount of shots, then maybe. Because it's going to be 3 ups to save on the Termies. But yeah, they're meant to just delete weak infantry. God forbid, like Eldar infantry and stuff, these things would just shred them along with Guard and Sisters. So that is high value for the one. And the reason I don't have another squad, because you can't, they're cheap to, I'm just low on points, to fan out to prevent deep strikes and stuff, is Overwatch. Because you can only do the Overwatch stratagem once per phase, but still, movement and charge phase, you're going to not only get them in your shooting phase, but then in your opponent's movement phase, you can have them continue to work, and God forbid they're not dead yet. So for 1 CP and all that, you're going to be getting twice of their shooting, and again, it's auto hit, so it doesn't matter that it's 6s, you're going to auto hit, reroll wounds, ignores cover, great value for 90 points for that squad. Huge trade up, usually. Next, we're going to have Genestealer Colt, following from the Tyranids. I have 2 fat things in Neophytes, 3 things Acolyte Hybrids. I'm not going through all their weapons. They got so many. It's one of those lists. Look up the Battlescribe yourself. 10 things of Genestealers to go with the Patriarch Broodlord to just staying alive. Actually, they, I think it's... Oh, that's weird. I could have sworn they're Yellow Scribe. Well, I'm going to actually have to fix this. What the heck? That's weird. A bunch of Aberrants. One of them is gonna, wow, that's so weird. I'm glad I caught that. Is gonna have the upgrade. Let me pull this up on Battlescribe. My buddy is going through these and he missed that for me. I should have caught it myself, but he went along to look and see if he found any issues. So the Aberrants, yeah, gonna have Inscrutable Cunning. That way you can do the risky thing and infiltrate them into your opponent's front line. Because 50-50 you go first. And then you just move up and just delete something with all of these Aberrants. Just all of their power hammers just going into something. 3 Primus and a Reductus Saboteur. You can just hide somewhere and just hold objective. The Ridge Runner will give it, so I think you get like extra AP or rerolls on your shooting of a specific target because of Spotter. And like Spotlight shit. And the thing is they're more of like a resurrecting Necron army than Necrons. You are rewarded and thus incentivized to bring so many infantry because if they get full wiped, they'll come back. And I believe, you can, if it's a fresh squad, then you can use their one-time use weapon again because it's like, it counts it as like a different squad or some nonsense. Yeah, so that's just bonkers. I don't really agree with that. That's just whole kinds of weird. That's Genestealer Colt. Wow, I'll have to fix that. Votan. I love me my dwarves. However, they are in a bad place, unfortunately. Actually, this is kind of the opposite of what I've said before. I like that they're all uniform. This feels more space. This feels like good old classic Space Marines. Not that I was playing, but, you know, it's all, we're fighting as a unit. We're not doing all separate things working towards a goal. No, we're all the same thing. Because they're also clones. So, like, I really like that it's just this huge split. Unfortunately, the Hearthguard are just so necessary right now. Because they're just in such a bad place. So you just have so many Hearthguards, so many Hearthguard warriors. 2 calls, the Iron Hair Champion. Ironically, one of the worst characters in the game is their only named character for Space Dwarves. Yeah, Uthar the Destined or whatever. He's pretty bad. Iron Master to buff up the Land Fortress. Land Fortress is going to spit out these Thunderkin, which do have blast cannons, because they get a buff when they're coming out, and I think there's a stratagem you could do as well. But it's only going to be for 1 turn, but it will do some decent damage either to a vehicle or to a non-vehicle because of anti-vehicle, so you can really mess something up with that. It's a good starter army, ironically, because there's just so little variety. This might be one of the best starter armies in the game, better than knights even, because again, there's so little variety, but it's not doing well. It's one of the better for learning, definitely. I would pitch that for learning. Necrons, and I am going Canoptic Court, not hyperphase, teleporting, all that nonsense. No, 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 no.
No, we don't do that here.
Yes, I understand it is funny and good to yeet a Catan into the midfield round 1 to round 2. Well, I don't even think you could do that round 1, but round 2 onwards, just constantly yeeting them in because the Catan are slow moving fat boys. Believe it or not, and it is really annoying to get them in to actually get damage done. So you have to bait your opponent into trying to take your area, or just dump a lot of shooting into them, and they'll just be a damage soak for the rest of your army. Because they are spooky if they actually ever accomplish anything. But the Canoptic Court, the Plasmancers are going to give, because they give it to the unit, the rerolls for the Immortals. Yes, I am aware that you can't combo stratagem anymore for the devastating wounds, but they still have lethal hits, and they still get the crit, and they get the rerolls of that, so you can fish for auto wounds, just not dev wounds. And they still have the real ones as well built in if your opponent's on objective. But yeah, I still think it's good. It's still good. The last person talked smacked. I have a video. I took out 840 points of her army before she even got to play a turn of the game. Destroyers, these are heavy destroyers with Gauss Destructors. They're flat damage 6. Again, a lot of stuff is like 4 to 6 wounds. So 4, 6/12 wounds. The Knights are 12 wounds for the Mini Knights. So this could take out 3 to 4 Mini Knights just with these by themselves. That's pretty freaking good. I understand they're not getting the bonuses. I am sad that the Destroyer Cult doesn't help them. It's more melee based. It's whatever. Also, Luminor Xeris buffing the Immortals as well. They're making them spookier than you'd think. One Technomancer with the item to go ahead with the Wraiths, so that way I can make the midfield my power matrix as well. Again, if you don't have an Infiltrator Scout unit, you're just giving that huge buff to your opponent. And a lot of armies like Necrons, Admech, Demons, and I know there's a few more. They get the extra bonuses if they control more of the no man's land. So, you know, it hurts when it happens. So that's why you were incentivized to just bring one Infiltrator or Scout. And there's, I think, one mission as well that you want that it pays off. The Doomstalkers, if they're positioned well, we're going to keep them because, you know, you can't really hide these tall fucks. Then they're just going to get their stationary bonus as well. Very nice. And that's it for the army. And the Nightbringer, of course, because neener, if he gets into melee, big funny. 2 left. Drum roll. Orcs! Wow! Flash gets controversial, but funny. And if they're not shot, then after you use their first round ammo runt, then you just can, if the goal is to keep them stationary. So you actually now hit on 4-ups, reroll hits. And so they get much better. Well, I'm going to say much better for them because they're kind of bad. But, you know, strength 6, AP 1, damage 2. Ironically, if your opponent gets close to them, then your opponent gets, I think, -1 toughness, similar to Death Guard, because they're wearing ammo belts and shooting ammo that is uranium. So it's literally radiation because, I don't know, orcs. Bunch of Gretchen because they can hold objectives. I don't like that they can hold objectives, actually. They're not OC2. The Run Herd is OC2. That's a error. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's supposed to be switched. But they just, again, so many models, they hold OC. And they're able to generate CP. Just crazy. Something that's a bit funny, this is, I believe, the correct size for a battle wagon. These are knobs. They all go in that battle wagon. So, they're just going to be chilling, hanging out. I have to double check. This is I keep finding this as the size of the battle wagon. I don't think that's accurate. So I'm going to double check that. So I don't think that's bloody accurate. But yeah, that's big funny. Anywho, moving on. They're all going to come out with 2 war bosses, when you call wall, I just wreck shit up. You're gonna have 2 character killers / vehicle monster killers, which is Beast Boss and Squig Sword, with of course the upgrade of the Head Wappa Kill Choppa, because why wouldn't you get the Dev Wound upgrade to the anti combo for monster and vehicle for the Beast Choppa Kill Choppa, and of course Mazurk's Strogbad. I had some extra points, so I got 2 custom Booster Blastas, just to make your opponent shooting. If you go get to shooty opponent, -1 to hit. It's kind of funny that you're giving your orcs indirect stealth in a way. And then 1 6-boy squad of Squighogs, just so they can be led by 1 knob and maybe run up and terrorize with their fast attack. Just 1 option. And Big Beam, they also, for their stickas, anti-monster, anti-vehicle, and they get Lance on their melee. And they're also anti-monster 4-up and vehicle 4-up. But that is unmodified, so you can't Lance a 3 into a auto 4. But if it's not a monster, it's not a vehicle, but it's stronger than T5, or sorry, if it's T5, then you're wounding it on 3-ups because of Lance. If they're 4-ups or below, if it's 4 for toughness or lower, then you're going on 2s. So they can delete some squads pretty good in melee. I wouldn't rely on their ranged. Last army, the Towel Sept. Big meme, not lore friendly at all. You can run a Fireblade with Farsight and Shadow Sun and a random Cold Star on the side in between them. This is pretty weird. You can do this, and I don't like that. I just chose a bunch of different colored units because I think it's funny. Oh, and Long Strike as well. Screw it. And so, yeah, they wouldn't be working together because Tau government. But you can do that in 10th because why not? For some reason, that's should be fixed. Why is this not fixed, GW? Farsight on 1 squad of Crisis Suits. I think 1 is Cyclonic Ion Blasters and the other is Plasma Rifles. I forget which one you put him on and the Cold Star on the other one. I think you give the Cold Star since it's Cyclic on this. He is going to have the Exemplar of the Cayune, and the Fireblade is going to have, for the greater good, 3 Unity Devastation. So if they're the Observer unit, their Guided will get lethal hits. So you have the option for lethal hits. You have Stealth guys to give reroll 1s. You have Tetras to reroll the hit roll. So you have a lot of options here, depending on what your opponent brings, what you need. You can do lethal, hits, wounds for the different crisis teams, which one is going to benefit more from getting out those rerolls, be it the Cyclic or the Rifles. Also, as I said, I have Long Strike and 2 Hammerheads. They can also just give the reroll hits the Hammerheads so they can make sure they get in. They have the built-in targeting array, so you can save that for your wound roll and use the reroll hits for the Railgun instead. So you're going to probably hit, you're probably going to wound, and so then they just have a huge AP 5d6 flat 6 coming at their face. God forbid you roll a 6 as well. But you got reroll wounds, so it's a higher chance now. This army is kind of weird because it looks medium-sized, but it's kind of small. It's got very few units. If you lose, similar to the Thousand Suns, I didn't touch this on the Thousand Suns video for Chaos, all covering on their factions, but some armies have like a combo, and if they lose a piece of the puzzle, the cog in the wheel, so to say, the machine, it kind of falls apart. Similar here. Your opponent may not think, oh, I need to just destroy the Fire Warriors, but you know that could be the best thing to combo with the Crisis Suits. If somehow they kill all the Crisis Suits, then that's not good. It's like the entirety of your damage output. Because yeah, you can destroy some big shit, but unless you're literally going against Knights with the Hammerheads, like, and if they're melee, they're running into you like in 2 to 3 rounds. If they're ranged, they're probably gonna go for the Hammerheads to kill them first. So this is pretty balanced and can deal with a lot of things, but against a smart opponent, it may struggle. However, with that said, that is all the Xenos factions. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be updating this mod once I figure out what's going on with the Acolytes and stuff for Gene Stealers. That seems to be the only thing I've noticed that's messed up. I remember in issue before where it's possibly Jukari or some other faction. I didn't Yellowscribe it because I wasn't playing at the time, and when I tried to Yellowscribe was down for like them and Gene Stealers. So maybe I never got around to appropriately doing this, but I will find out. It's quite strange. If you do like this content, like, share, and subscribe. If there's anything else you noticed I need to change or fix and update so people can enjoy the mod in a more better way. More better. That's fun. Let me know. I do like any positive feedback, constructive criticism. I'm always down to play some games if I'm free. Board games, card games, strategy games, or just talk shop and nerd out. You might see me in some Discords. Feel free to say hi or message me. It's always welcome. Take care and game on, gamers. Later. Bye.